Today we're doing part 2 on how I square a building. First we're going to talk to a couple pros who do it for a living, and then I'm going to give a couple examples. Okay, today they're putting in a new house on the street, and we're going to talk a little bit about squaring.
So that's pretty good in there.
Here's a guy squared about 100 buildings and he never used batter boards. Is that correct?
Correct.
Keeping the curve there. Yep.
So I know I'm squared. Well, there's the 3-4-5 rule.
Yeah.
But, that's if I'm in a pinch, but they give me the measurements here, so I just follow
the measurements. And you catty corner it, right?
Diagonal?
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to do the diagonals or else you're going to be off. You'll be trapezoid.
Exactly.
That's good, yeah.
Yeah, you're going to do a 3 foot bigger, right?
Typically do a 3 foot over dig, and then later we'll, because these pins get dug out, then we'll drop the pins in the hole by using our bigger markers.
Yeah.
So I'll tie a string, drop a plumb bob right on that string once I got a 9 foot hole done.
And this is the string that goes so they know that they're even with the road. Now they're going from that pin to this pin. Now he's going, as you call, diagonal this way and then diagonal this way. This is the only true way to get your accurate square. Now we're going to talk to the guy that puts these cellars in. This guy, how many cellars you put in a year?
About 200 to 250.
All right, so when you're squaring a cellar, you always go diagonal, right?
Yep, always diagonal. They give us measurements on a print from the office. If we have to, sometimes we'll figure them out ourselves. But we never use a 3-4-5 method unless there's a smaller panel that we don't have a diagonal for.
Okay.
So we'll use that.
All right, thank you.
Yep.
Well, last video I did about squaring a block building, I used a piece of plywood, which is a square. A lot of people say, well, I just go in on the 3-4-5 method. So you measure over here, you got 3 feet. Go over here, and you got 4 feet. And then from there, that point to this point, you got 5 feet. But see, the square is already 3-4-5. So when I go around using it, I'm making sure that I'm right on, because I see so many people make mistakes. You could use any method you want, 3-4-5, or it's what, 6-8-10, and you could keep going to make your square. But the only real way to do it is diagonal. That's the best way. I'm going to give an example of this building I'm going to square off and how I went about to do it. These are all my architecture tools when I went to college for architecture and law. I'm using a 3/4 scale right here. There's like 3 inches, there's a 1/4 inch, there's an inch, but for this example, 3/4 inches. And let's just say I want to find this wall here, and you come down here 12 feet. You see it? 12 feet. If you wanted to go 12 feet, then you got your inches over here. So get yourself one of these if you don't have one. Here's what I did. First thing I did was I came out here 8'6" to there, 8'6" to there, and I established my line, because I want this line right here to be even with this line. And then the carpenter gave me the point, so I got to get my square since I got that line right there. And that's how I found out I was square there. Then I went over to the other side and I did the exact same thing. I went from that point to that point, and then I measured 4 times, and then what I did was, to make sure I was perfectly on, I'd catty corner. I go from this point to this point, and then I would go this point to this point, and they got to average out. Now everybody says, well, Mike, you're going around with the plywood square. Why? Because when I was a foreman and I worked on them union jobs and all that stuff, they'd laugh at me, but I go around and I would get my plywood square, and I go around and I check everybody's square. They'd be using the 3-4-5 method, and I'd be going around checking with the square, and sure enough, I find out where people's off. So it's a good way to double check that everybody's doing and everybody's square when you want them to be square. So here we go. Now I'll do this example. You have to forgive me because I forgot the camera stand. But we're going to look about squaring this building. Now I know the carpenter, I have to reach that height. I have to come down to here. So I go from there down to the edge of my square, and I know it's level. After I do that, I come over here, I measured out, I'll show you that right now, and I measure 8'6". That's where I have to be. So I know this line is straight, but this line from this part of the building comes out 8'6". So I'm only doing this with one hand, but you get the idea. This line right here has to be even with this building. Took the square off. That's where my first block is gonna go. I follow that line. I know I'm square. So if this is making sense, I'm 8'6" out from there to there. I'm 8'6" out from there to there. I laid that block, and I go 12 foot from there to there. So this line is perfectly going with the house. Now, because I don't have the camera stand, I laid that corner first, squared to there, got my height from the building. I moved over here, I put my square on here. That's how I know I'm good. Now for the next example, I'm using a 1/4 inch scale, and you can see where 20 comes to on the 1/4 inch scale. But they came out 20 feet this way, 20 feet this way, and they established your line 23'6". The only thing I was helping them to do was square it off for the block work. I wasn't doing the block work, I was just squaring it off. But you're going to notice on that example that they were off with their footer. Why? Because they wouldn't take the time to go around with that little plywood square and get that correct. So let me show you this example now. I'm looking at a footing, they put the footer in, and they want me to square it off for the block. So I'm going to show you how I do it. First I'm going to go 20 foot this way, and 20 foot this way, and then this line is going to be even with the house. Now there's the house, and we came 20 foot this way to that point, follow the line down here, then we go 20 foot to that building right there. Now we're going to get my little square out. Now when I'm squaring a building, to make sure, I put up a piece of plywood that I cut out that I know is square, and I know these strings are going to match. Now everybody says, oh, go 3, 4, 5. It's hard to do that. And a lot of people make mistakes. Now we're looking down, I put the square in. See the square? That's the line that goes 20 feet, and it's the line that goes this way. But look at how much the footer is off, because they wouldn't take the time to put the square up. That's what I'm trying to tell you. When you're squaring a building, you could use any method you want. Best is diagonal, or what we call catty corner. You could use the 3, 4, 5 method, but when you're down in a hole and going up ditches, it's hard to do. A lot of people make mistakes. This old school little simple trick will catch a 99 out of 100 mistakes. All you got to do is go around and check it with a square, and then you're going to know if you're close. So we're going to look at some new school things where they're using computers and lasers and all that stuff. And then I'm going to make my final comment at the end.
Building point.
Okay.
We're looking at the Trimble Field Link here, connected to the robotic total station 873 with the green laser.
Right. And this will square a building, correct?
Correct.
So over here we use this laser, which is over there, and then somehow it reads it, and this will tell you if you're square.
Correct. So you'll upload your drawing to here.
You upload your drawing to there.
So right now we don't have a drawing in there. They're just doing a surface module,
Right.
Where you can see whether the concrete pour was too high, too low. But you could do your points on the 4 corners.
Right.
You go, you measure them out, you square it, and you could do measurements between them. Get out of here. So you can do different measurements. Right now we don't have a drawing in there, like I said.
Yeah.
It gives you measurements and distance, angle, and all that too. So
Okay. All right. Now,
All right, I'm Adam with GMAX, and pretty much with our software and our hardware, you have the ability to create a point on on a slab, and then you can actually input through the data collector the other positions on that slab via our CAD menu options. Once you input the coordinates for your other corners, you can set your instrument up anywhere on that site and create a resection based upon 2 points, which will give you the position of your total station. And then after you've done the resection, you're able to lay out any other corners that you calculated.
So that's basically another way to square a building.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Rich Morris. I'm with Stabila. We're industry known for making the finest levels and lasers in the world. We're a full measurements company. This is our LA 180. It's designed for long-range layout. Right now in the marketplace, there's nothing that could achieve a perfect layout with one man because of the range. Personal line lasers have a range of 50 feet. Traditional methods are 3, 4, 5, 30, 40, 50. This will give you a perfect layout at 150 feet in each direction. What happens with this particular receiver, it's a transceiver. It actually talks to the laser. Once you arm this receiver, it's going to talk to the laser. The laser will position itself, giving you a perfect 100-degree layout. It's the fastest layout system in the world. For more information, stabila.com.
So I'm going to make some final points here. I used to square buildings off 200 feet long with outposts and outbuildings with a straight line, that square, and a measuring tape. Never had a problem. I just make sure that everybody's there. The carpenter's there, the engineer's there, the architect's there. Everybody's there so they confirm everything I do. Now back in the early 70s, my last year in the Navy, I was out in the middle of the Indian Ocean. I was a navigator. GPS was just coming out. It was on our ship. We were one of the first ships to get it. It was experimental at the time. It was secret. But the way we really found out where we were is we'd shoot the stars in the morning, we'd shoot the stars in the dawn, we'd catch the sun and the moon, we'd take depth readings, we'd dead reckon just like Columbus did it. We would get Loran and Omega radio beams, but the Russians could bend them so you couldn't trust it. Or if a merchant ship was going by, you'd call over and say, "Captain, what's your position?" You trade positions. But it was still dead reckoning. And when you use that old square, you're dead reckoning, and that's going to save a lot of mistakes for you in the future. That's what these videos are about. So that's the end of this video. All my videos are food for thought. Thanks for watching. I'm Mike Haduck. Until next video.